The first light of dawn stretched across the vast Arizona plains, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The Harrison Ranch lay silent, the cattle lowing softly in the distance as the wind swept through the dry grass. Luke Harrison, the rugged rancher known for his strong hands and unwavering principles, was already up, tending to the horses before the sun had fully risen. Life on the ranch was hard, demanding, and unforgiving, but Luke had always believed that family and honor were worth every sacrifice. He was saddling his horse when a faint, desperate sound caught his attention, a soft cry, almost drowned by the whispering wind. Following it, he approached the old barn near the edge of the property, where the shadows seemed thicker and the air cooler. Inside, he found Emily, his younger sister, crouched against a stack of hay. Her face was pale, tear-streaked, and her once bright eyes held fear and shame he had never seen before. Her hands trembled as she clutched her belly, swollen with the secret she had carried alone for months. Luke's heart twisted. He had known of the rumors in town, whispers of men who abandoned women after fleeting promises, but he had never imagined his own sister would bear such a burden. Emily. His voice was gentle but firm, breaking the silence like a rope cutting through fog. She flinched but looked up, eyes wide and filled with helplessness. I didn't know what to do," she stammered. "No one will want me, or the baby. I'm afraid, Luke." Luke closed the distance, placing a rough hand on her shoulder, feeling the small tremor that betrayed both fear and exhaustion. "You're not alone," he said quietly. His voice, calm and steady, carried a weight of authority and protection that could silence the harshest critics. "Whatever happens, I will take care of you, and this child. You will not suffer because of someone else's cowardice." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes, but this time, they were mingled with relief. She had feared judgment, rejection, and loneliness, but Luke's presence was a promise stronger than any law or gossip. I don't know how I can ever thank you," she whispered. "You don't need to," Luke replied, his jaw tightening. "This child will carry the Harrison name. We protect our own. That's all that matters." The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, yet Luke felt a strange sense of resolve. The ranch was more than land, cattle, and fences. It was a legacy, a place where family could survive storms, poverty, and cruelty. And now, it would shelter Emily and her unborn child from a world that could be harsh and unforgiving. As the sun climbed higher, casting long golden rays across the fields, Luke helped Emily to her feet. Together, they walked toward the farmhouse, the first steps of a journey neither of them could have imagined. In the quiet strength of the morning, one truth became clear: love, loyalty, and family could overcome even the deepest shame and fear. The Harrison name, already strong in the county, would now carry a new chapter, one written in courage, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion. If you want, I can also expand part 2 to 500 words next, keeping the story flowing naturally and emotional, so the full tale can become a series of cinematic, USA Wild West-style chapters. Do you want me to do that? The days that followed were long and filled with quiet preparation. Emily's condition was no secret to Luke, but to the rest of the county, the small farmhouse on the Harrison Ranch remained a picture of ordinary life. Luke, determined to protect his sister and her child, threw himself into work. By dawn, he was in the fields, tending to the cattle, repairing fences, and ensuring the ranch ran smoothly. By evening, he returned to the farmhouse, carrying supplies and helping Emily with whatever tasks her condition allowed. The air smelled of hay, leather, and dust, yet in the small home, there was warmth, a fragile but growing sense of hope. Luke transformed the nursery in the corner of the farmhouse. The walls, once bare and gray, were painted in soft hues of cream and lavender. A small wooden crib, polished and sturdy, stood ready. Toys were gathered from neighbors and local merchants, each carefully chosen to bring joy to a child who had yet to arrive. Luke even sewed blankets by hand, rough at first but gradually softening into comforting warmth under his careful stitching. Emily, timid and uncertain at first, began to regain confidence. She spent hours at the window, looking over the sunlit fields, imagining a future for her child. Sometimes, she would glance at Luke, who worked tirelessly in both the barn and the fields, and feel a mixture of gratitude and awe. His dedication went beyond brotherly duty, it was a shield against the cruel world outside. The townsfolk, ever curious, whispered about Luke's newfound attention to his sister. Some wondered aloud why the proud rancher seemed to devote so much care to a private matter. Rumors floated through the saloon and general store, but Luke paid them no mind. Emily's well-being and the safety of the unborn child were worth every judgmental glance or whispered comment. As the weeks passed, Luke's meticulous planning became evident. He studied midwifery guides, learning what he could to assist during the birth, though he hoped it would never come to that. He reinforced the farmhouse walls, stocked the larder, and secured medicine and supplies. The Harrison Ranch had always been a fortress of land and livestock, but now it would serve as a sanctuary of life, a place where love, loyalty, and courage would hold sway. At night, Emily would sit by the candlelight, sketching the crib, toys, and the life she longed to give her child. Sometimes, she would confide her fears to Luke, the worry of raising a child alone, the shame of the past, the uncertainty of the future. And every time, Luke reassured her with the same unwavering promise: she was not alone, and this child would bear the Harrison name with pride. The desert sun blazed overhead one afternoon, highlighting the resilience that now flowed through the ranch. Luke knew that the world could be harsh and unforgiving, but together, they could endure. Emily's growing belly was no longer a symbol of fear, but a reminder of hope. In the heart of Arizona's rugged plains, a family was being forged, not by blood alone, but by courage, loyalty, and a love strong enough to defy the world. The air was thick with tension as the first signs of labor came one early morning. Emily clutched the edge of the crib she had lovingly prepared, fear and anticipation mingling in her eyes. Luke, steady and unflinching, guided her to the small room near the hearth. Though his hands were rough from years of ranch work, they were gentle now, offering comfort and reassurance. "You're safe," he whispered, his voice calm. "We'll do this together. Everything will be fine." Hours passed. The wind howled outside, carrying the scent of dust and sagebrush across the plains. The cattle stirred in the distance, but inside the farmhouse, time seemed to stretch and pause. Luke kept a vigilant watch, fetching warm water, checking blankets, and offering words of encouragement. Emily's strength amazed him. Her determination to bring life into the world despite fear and exhaustion was inspiring. Finally, just as the sun broke through the horizon, casting golden streaks across the room, a newborn's cry pierced the morning silence. Luke held the small, fragile bundle close, feeling the weight of responsibility in every tiny movement. Emily, tears streaming down her face, reached out to touch the child. It's beautiful," she whispered, voice trembling with awe and relief. Luke carefully cleaned and swaddled the baby, whispering promises of protection and love. "You'll grow up strong and proud, carrying the Harrison name. Nothing will break you," he murmured, feeling a sense of purpose deeper than any cattle drive or harvest. Emily rested, exhausted yet glowing, her heart swelling with gratitude. She knew Luke had given her not only his protection but the foundation for a life filled with hope and security. The townsfolk soon learned of the child's arrival, and whispers turned into admiration. People saw the devotion in Luke's eyes, the tender care he offered his sister and her baby. Slowly, the harsh judgments faded. The Harrison Ranch had become more than a symbol of wealth or power. It was a sanctuary where courage, loyalty, and love overcame fear and gossip alike. As months turned into years, the child grew strong, curious, and kind, learning to ride horses, tend the fields, and respect the land that sustained them. Luke taught the child more than ranching skills. He taught honor, resilience, and the value of family. Emily, now confident and radiant, watched with pride as her son embraced the Harrison legacy, unafraid of the world that once seemed so cruel. On quiet evenings, Luke would sit on the porch, the child playing nearby, Emily by his side. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in deep hues of orange and crimson. The ranch, once only a place of work, had become a home, a story of triumph over adversity. In the heart of the Arizona desert, a family had been forged, not merely by blood, but by courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to one another. The Harrison name now carried more than land, cattle, or wealth. It carried hope, protection, and the unbreakable bond of family, a legacy that would endure for generations to come.